Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Scott Pruitt was grilled by lawmakers today. Pruitt has been in headlines for allegedly spending too much on security, raises for staffers, and a sweet deal on his rent.
And I'm confident that these investigations will affirm what I've come to believe is true, that you are unfit to hold public office and undeserving of the public trust. And I don't say those words, because I particularly dislike you or hold you in ill repute. I just think that every indication we have is that you really should resign, and you are undeserving of the public trust.
Cooperatively with the state.
Pruitt says the claims have been distorted. Meanwhile, it's been 4 years since the Flint water crisis began, and sadly, Flint residents are still feeling the effects of the crisis. The Environmental Protection Agency is giving a grant to the research team who discovered the lead in Flint back in 2014. They hope the team can prevent this from happening in another city. Ashlee Banks tells us more tonight.
Virginia Tech will soon use a $1.9 million grant to detect lead exposure in drinking water. Close to 2,000 Flint citizens sued the Environmental Protection Agency for overlooking the water crisis until it was too late. The agency did not take the proper steps to ensure state and local authorities were addressing the crisis. Here we are 4 years later, and the agency is hoping to ensure this never happens again. On April 25, 2014, the Flint water crisis began when the state emergency manager decided to switch the city's water source from the Detroit water system to the Flint River in order to cut costs. During the summer months, residents began complaining about a foul smell, as well as side effects they experienced after drinking the water and bathing in it. Many residents were then faced with a Legionnaire's outbreak, and in the months to follow, many officials would face charges for their role of not properly addressing the crisis. EPA Chief Scott Pruitt says, quote, "Lead exposure is one of the greatest environmental threats we face as a country, and it's especially dangerous for our children. This research will move us one step closer to advancing our work to eradicate lead in drinking water." Lead is very harmful to pregnant women, infants, and young children. It can cause kids to lose IQ points, develop learning disabilities, and behavioral problems. According to a state government report from 2014 to 2017, the third grade reading proficiency in the city dropped from 41.8% to 10.7%. Some cite the reason for this is because the test became more difficult and stress could have played a role. However, Rochelle Riley, who writes for the Detroit Free Press, thinks otherwise. She says that's nearly a three-quarter drop in third grade reading proficiency among children whose lives were affected by lead-poisoned water during the Flint water crisis. Michigan recently ended its water distribution program. It claims the water is now up to federal standards and is okay for consumption. However, the EPA has warned that the mass replacement of lead pipes and service lines could result in more lead being leaked into Flint's drinking water. In Washington,